Hey everyone, it's Dangercraft, and today I'll be doing a review of my LoongSoul Zi Xia in non-environmental white resin. She is a 58 centimeter doll made by a Chinese BJD company called LoongSoul. Regarding the price point on this doll, if you get her in the standard environmental resin, she is $450 for the normal pink, normal yellow, and white skin, but if you have her casted in tan skin, she is $525. But if you go with the non-environmental resin, she is $45 cheaper. I also have her healed feet with me, which I ordered when I had this doll made. I also had to cast the non-environmental resin, and they were $21, and there was no difference between the resin type you have them casted in. You just have to specify when you order the doll which resin you get her casted in. And I pre-ordered her through Mint on Card. I know LoongSoul doesn't go through a lot of dealers. I think they just recently started being stocked at Denver Doll, but a lot of those distributors will let you switch resin, so read on the website, email them if you have to. So if you don't like the transparent French resin, you can have them casted in the regular resin. And so we're going to get her undressed and go over some body measurements. And before I continue, I do have to add a doll nudity warning. She is blushed in her chest. Okay, before I continue, I have to go over the gorgeous doll box that LoongSoul has. This box is huge compared to my doll. Her feet are right here, and there's a few more inches at the top, and it's very wide. So it's possible to use these for the larger dolls. I'm not sure, because I only have one LoongSoul doll in the house right now. But as with usually ordering through Mint on Card, you have a little sticker at the bottom of the box, doll company, Sculpt, resin color, and whether or not you ordered them with a face up. So let's open this box up. And it is a pull-out box. And inside, I'll put that top off to the side. This is what their birth certificates look like. Once again, absolutely gorgeous. Black paper with silver foil. Their website and their logo again. And they include is a birth certificate on this gorgeous shimmery paper. There's more on the back. And they also sent a postcard. In this doll, they also had a ribbon that tied this together. Now, LoongSoul doesn't send their dolls with pillows. This, well, traditional sewn fabric pillows, this is air-filled plastic cushioning, which does a great job at insulating this doll when she's in her box. Okay, now that we're here, we can go over some measurements of the doll. She is on the LoongSoul Bloom body, which they have a new 58 centimeter girl body out, but this is their older body. Her head circumference is 22 centimeters, so she'll be wearing an 8-9 wig, but the 8-9 wig I have for her is a little loose, so she will need a wig cap, and some wigs may need alterations. On the website, her eye size is listed at 14 to 16 millimeter, but she needs a 14 millimeter eye because the 16 was just too big in her head. Her neck circumference is 9 centimeters. Her shoulder width is 11 centimeters. And she has the large bust, which is 24.5 centimeters, but the small is 23 centimeters, the medium is 23.5, so the large bust is a full centimeter different than the medium-sized bust. Her waist circumference is 16.2 centimeters, her hips are 24 centimeters, the inseam of her leg length is 30 centimeters, her arms are 23 centimeters long, and her foot length is 7.3 centimeters. So she will be wearing standard 1/3 scale girl BJD shoes. So now we're going to zoom in and go over some posability of this doll. And if anyone knows LoongSoul dolls, they have amazing posability. Okay, now that we're at her face, you can see the details of her sculpt, profile, and I absolutely adore this sculpt. I think it's somewhat mischievous with the right face up, and it's extremely versatile. She is on like her third or fourth face up right now, and just by even doing the lips or eyebrows differently, she looks completely different. So if you're not sure if you like this sculpt based on the company photos of her, there is a lot that can be done with this sculpt. And then go to the back, and every single LoongSoul doll has a head plate with a unique serial number, so you know that this doll is legitimate. So we'll go inside of her head, which is a magnet on the bottom and a pin on the top. And then you can see inside of her head, S-hook, and then there's some serial numbers on the side of the head. Now, as with posability, this is her resting position. Going back, going down, forward, tilting to the side, other side, and then turning. So even with just her head, she has extremely natural fluid movements, which I really like with this doll. So now we're going to move on to her chest and arms. Okay, now that we're here, you can see the shape of the chest. Now, I know a lot of people complain about LoongSoul's L bust, but I do not mind it. It looks very nice clothed and under certain undergarments. So we're gonna put her arms back so you can see the posability. Now, moving back, she's a little bit, but moving forward, she has a lot of movement. She has these little ridges right here, which will lock her into place at any one of those notches. And then moving to the side, click, click. So you get about 2 clicks, but she is bending in half like a pretzel. There's another one. So you can even move forward and lean off to the side. So she has a lot of movement. And as with her arms, she also has similar notches. So that's resting. 1 click, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she will hold all of those poses. And she is double jointed in her arms. So there's one and there's the double joint. So her arm has a lot of bending, and her hands are also extremely fluid. And you do actually get a little bit of side-to-side movement, mostly going off to the right side. A lot of forward and back. And now we'll move on to her hips, which is by far the strangest part of this doll. So now we are at her hip piece, and unlike most BJDs, she has a piece like this, and then she has 2, they're technically hip pieces because they're not in the thigh, but you can see that they have, look at a closer look at that. That's the inside of her hip. So she has a lot of locking and a lot of posability. And also, like her bust piece, she has all the similar locking positions, but she only has 1 to each side. Zoom out a little bit. And 1 forward and kind of 1 back. So her hip piece doesn't have a lot of movement because her chest does. So then I will also show you how this doll has to be sat. Now when she's sitting like this, she isn't very stable, So when you sit these dolls, you actually have to pop out the hip pieces like that, which makes it look a little funny when she's unclothed, but it makes her extremely stable while she's sitting. Then you can also straighten up her back. So when she's fully clothed, it is hard to tell how weirdly she's positioned. But if you want her to sit on your shelf, she's gonna be extremely stable while she's doing that. And so now we will move on to her legs and feet. Okay, we're gonna start at her thighs. And unlike most BDDs, she does not have a mobility joint in her thigh. So she's still gonna have a lot of movement when she moves her legs. And she's pretty okay at holding those positions. But she will not hold half positions like she does in her chest and in her arms. But I'll move down to her knee. That's just one bend. But she also has a locking mechanism in her knee. So it makes a loud sound when it clicks around, but it makes her bent positions extremely stable. See? It is very loud. But that also makes her an extremely stable stander. And with her foot, like that, and that. Not a lot of side-to-side movement, but she, like in her arms and legs, she has little notches. So she is an extremely stable stander. I don't know if I'll get her to stand right now because she's not wearing shoes. So shoes definitely make this doll more stable when she stands. So we're going to zoom out and go over some final thoughts on this doll. So here's Zhongli again to say thank you for watching this video. And if you're thinking about getting a LoongSoul doll, I highly recommend them because they have amazing posability, even though they're a little bit more expensive. So bye.